sometimes they'll push me on that swing, the swing or whatever,
Yes.
and they'll leave me there.
It was kind of the opposite. Like once they found out that I could speak another language, they always asked me like, "Oh, can you say this and this phrase?" And
Ooh, what's that smell? It smells so bad.
like,
I can't eat it.
It's good, yeah.
It's good to me, but to them it's just
Yeah.
like, that smells so bad. Why are you
Yeah.
sitting there? And I was just so shocked. I was like, how can you come to a country?
Right.
You don't know anybody.
Yes.
And you just want to isolate yourself.
Right, you guys are ready?
As early as we could be.
Well, I want to appreciate you guys for coming, even last minute, and just coming and sharing your stories. So grateful. I'm just appreciating you being here. Feel comfortable, and let's educate our brothers and sisters from home, so that when they come here, and they can have at least an idea what America is or living here is like.
Yeah.
And so I will start off by giving you guys an opportunity to introduce yourself. You can say where your names, where you are from, and you can say also where you went to school, like for the area that we are mostly focusing on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start from
Me?
Salia, yes.
Okay. My name is Salia. I'm from Congo, but I was born, it's okay, I'm from Congo.
Yes.
And right now I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I go to GVSU my senior year at Grand Valley State University.
Great. And then when you came to America, at what level did you start?
Oh yeah, when I came to the U.S., I started in the 4th grade, so elementary school.
Wow,
Yeah.
yes. Awesome, awesome. What about you? Introduce yourself and say. Yeah.
My name is Michaela. I'm from Burkina Faso. I grew up in the U.S. most of my life, and in middle school and high school, part of it was done in Illinois because my parents used to live there.
Yes.
And so we moved to Michigan halfway through my middle school. So I finished middle school and high school in Jackson, Michigan.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I came straight from Kenya to college. So it's a whole different experience for somebody coming in as a college student versus somebody maybe starting from a different, maybe a lower level.
Yeah.
And so personally, I've heard a little bit about just people saying about their experiences, but I've never really experienced it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And since I'm here in America, I'm pretty sure there are other people who are in the same boat as me, who are coming in college, or people just want green card and they have kids and they come to America. And now their kids have to, to go join high school or elementary school, middle school.
Yeah.
And so those are the people that, we are targeting to educate.
Okay.
Because I've seen people come here and they struggle.
Yeah.
So there's a way you guys can share ideas, your experiences. So we can start off. Again, we'll start from you, Salia,
Okay.
far right.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm saying your names right.
You are.
So far.
You are.
And then just take us through, actually let's start through your experiences when you guys came to America first.
Yeah.
How you thought your experience was like?
In the U.S., when I arrived in the U.S.,
Yes,
obviously we came here during the cold season. It was like February, snow everywhere. We didn't know what snow was, but thank goodness the people who actually were helping us were prepared, so they gave us the jackets and everything because we didn't have any jackets coming in here.
Yes.
We just it was like the African heat. So, but then I started off in elementary school, so the 4th grade. I was put in all English speaking school. I had no idea what was going on.
Yes.
So like the teacher will pass out papers and I'll try to do something, but I don't even know what the paper is saying.
Right.
It's just a bunch of words and I don't even know like what it means.
Yes.
So then there were two other students in my class who spoke Kiswahili, but they didn't speak it as good as I did. So them translating it to me, it was hard because I was like, what are you guys saying?
Right. Yeah.
So they tried that way, but it wasn't working. So then later on, the teacher figured out that, oh, this girl doesn't speak English at all.
Yes.
So then I started going to the library most of the time. Like I'll go to school, but then I'll spend my entire day in the library just watching, cartoons and PBS Kids and all that, just to try to learn English a little bit.
Yes.
And then when that school year was over, I was transferred over to English learning school. So then I was in the 5th grade in ESL classes. I was with students who also didn't speak English.
Yes.
So they were from where are they from? Asia,
Yes.
like all over the world, really.
Yeah,
Came to the US and they don't speak English. So then we were all like kind of learning English together. And then I went to middle school. I was also in ESL classes until I reached the 8th grade.
Yes.
Or 7th grade. That's when I was like, I graduated from ESL classes. At that point, I actually spoke English properly.
Yeah.
So then I went to like, regular classes. So like where all the students were English-speaking students, mixed with everybody from all over. And then after that, I went to high school, just regular, and then college.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story. Okay, Michaela, take us through your journey, like similar like she did.
So mine is a little bit different just because my family came to the U.S. when I was 3, almost 4.
Yes.
So I started off going to school in preschool, or kindergarten, I should say.
Yes.
And then I was placed in English-speaking classes as well for about 1 to 2 years. And then after that, I was kind of let go to go into the normal classes.
Yes.
I kind of hopped around to different schools in like elementary school and middle school and actually high school as well.
Yes.
But they were all public schools throughout my whole college education, or elementary, middle school, and high school education.
Nice education, yeah. That's awesome. I want us to dig deeper on your experiences, really. Because those, even the little details, they matter, and there's no limit of what you can share as long as you're comfortable sharing it. Think about a young girl, a young woman, joining high school or middle school when you're telling, because like it could be like little details, like for Chris was like, it was like my dress code or something.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to hear your experiences, I know you have shared a little bit.
Yeah.
But is there like a longer version of it? Some things, you would like people actually to know?
Yes. Okay. So this is a bit funny.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
So when I was like in that school, English-speaking school, they were friends. They were like African American friends.
Yes.
They knew I didn't speak English, and my African friends at the time were just. I think they got bored of me or something, so they were just doing their own thing, and then they would leave me alone.
Yes.
Because like I didn't speak English, and they didn't know how to talk to me.
Yes.
Because they didn't speak Swahili either. So during recess, like I'll go out. Like it's recess time, we'll go out, and these African American students will come to me and start telling me to say things. They'll start telling me to say certain things.
Yes.
No, not in my language, in English. They'll tell me certain things in English to say. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. So they'll tell me to say it, I'll say it, and they'll laugh. And I was like, oh, we're all friends. We're just laughing.
Right.
Oh, no.
Then later on, I found out they would actually tell me to say bad words. So the entire time during recess, I thought they were my friends. So the only time they ever spoke to me was only to ask me to say something, and my accent was still so big back then. So the way I pronounced certain things was really, really funny to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just went on.
With the accent, I came here with that thick accent. I'm still struggling with it, and, But it's true. Like an accent is a thing, and I can see kids, taking advantage of that, of even not speaking English, and trying to make fun of it. Now, were these like just girls, or was girls and boys, or it was boys, or it was both?
It was both.
It was both,
because they were like in a clique. There was like a little clique, like a group of friends would just go, oh, she doesn't speak English. Let's go talk to her. Let's go tell her to do certain things. And, even during recess too, sometimes they'll push me on that swing, the swing or whatever, and they'll leave me there. And they'll go back. And I'm just like, there was one time I was on that, the wheel, like the swing with the two things, and there's a wheel, and then they'll spin me around. There was one time I almost threw up just because they left me there and then they just walked away. And I was like,
oh, wow.
At that time, I didn't even register. I was a kid. I thought we were all just having fun. Like, they're just doing this for fun. But now that I think back to it, I was like, this was actually kind of mean.
Yeah.
But
They were definitely taking advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's just
So-
amazing, like even if at that age, like kids can still be like really mean.
Yeah.
Like you think like kids are innocent,
Oh, yeah.
but like
I think like especially
They're rude.
now too, because I
Yes.
feel like when I first came to the U.S., this was a lot. Schools back then were a lot better
Yes.
than they are now.
Yeah.
So I feel like
How so?
because okay, I'm just gonna say, you know how this gun thing is happening where kids are being
Yes.
shot at school.
Yes.
Back then it wasn't as big. Like in
Yes.
2011, 2012, it wasn't that big. Like you didn't hear a lot of stories of kids, taking guns to school and
Yes.
shooting.
Right.
So over there we were a little safe, but now it's like you have to be careful
Yes. Yeah.
how your students is dressed, how they speak to other students, because you
Yes.
never know what a child is going through at home. They might have something and then they come to school and do something outrageous. You know?
that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like too, social media is making it a lot worse as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
People are a lot more mean as a result of that.
Yes.
Because like back then I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
I actually did not have a phone.
phone, right?
Yeah. No, literally from like elementary school, students will have phones in
Yes.
classrooms and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'm like, why?
Why?
And I feel like that's why the retention levels are so low too for a lot of the students now, because they're growing up to this cell phone, social
Right.
media
Yeah.
ages,
Yes.
Exactly.
where it's like, oh, I'm literally like you're in the 4th grade, you already know how to get it on YouTube.
Right.
There was a time where I had to beg my mom, my older like friends to be like, let me use your phone,
Yes.
and they would say no. And whenever I got on Facebook was when I went to the library pretending to study.
Yes.
Then I'll go on Facebook. Other than that, I didn't have a phone. I'll go home, do my studies, and then go to sleep or play outside. But now it's like everything is getting worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, that. Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
when you were talking about how they didn't realize you spoke English and then they're like kind of making fun of you for
Yeah.
that. For me, it was kind of the opposite. Like once they found out that I could speak another language, they always asked me like, oh, can you say this and this phrase in French or Grima, which is languages I speak.
Yes.
So kind of drawing out, oh, you're different than us,
Yes.
type of thing. And also, like, at lunchtime, I would bring, like, food from home that my mom made for us, and it was definitely not American food.
Yes,
So every time I
yeah.
bring it, they'd be like, oh, what's this? And then
Yeah.
they, like, make a remark about it. For the most part, they were nice, but every once in a while, I get, like, a weird look from my
Right.
peers,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I think it also depends on what school you went to.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you said you went to a lot of public schools. Like, was
all
it
public schools.
was it diverse?
Ooh, not all of them.
Okay.
Like, my high school that I graduated from was,
Yes.
but for the most part, from elementary school through most of high school, it was predominantly white.
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
definitely make it a lot harder to really be part of the student population, to feel like part of the group and the community there.
Right. Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, like compared to my elementary school, like I said, like the school that I went to was pretty diverse, but it wasn't as it was more
Yes.
like white people and African American people that were there. So like bringing lunch, bringing your own African food.
Yes.
It's like, ooh, what's that smell? It smells so bad.
You're
Like I can't eat it.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's
yeah.
good to me, but to them it's just
Yeah.
like, that smells so bad. Why are you
Yeah.
sitting next to us? Ew.
Right.
Exactly.
You know.
But some
Yeah.
would actually want to try it too.
Some, yeah.
They'd be
Yeah.
courageous.
Yeah. I mean, our African food, I think, is
Delicious.
delicious.
Very good.
Great flavor. You know.
Yes.
And you can even smell the deliciousness of it.
We can smell the deliciousness of it, but they
But
can't.
they cannot.
No.
Oh man. You know, I face the same thing at workplace.
Yeah. Oh yes,
Oh, I
me
do.
too.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah.
No, because like,
Yeah.
okay, let me tell you. There was one time I went to work, and this time I was like, I'm not gonna buy lunch at work
Yes.
because it's boring and it's just the same thing, inexpensive.
Yeah.
So let me make my own food. I made my own food, take it to work during break. I'm warming up my food, and obviously it's African food. It
Yes.
has a lot of smell because we put a
Yes.
lot of flavor in our
Yeah.
food. And then these African American girls, by the way, I don't hate African American people because I keep referring to them. It's just that they're the ones who make the most comments about a lot of
Yes,
things.
yes.
In
They're
my
outspoken.
in my experience, at
Yeah.
least, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm warming up my food, and this girl comes into the break room, and she's like, "Oh, what's that smell? It smells so bad." And I was like,
Oh no.
to me, I was
Yeah.
like, it's whatever. Like, I'm so used to this. I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. I don't care what you say. If you have a
Yeah.
problem with it, go to another break room. That's not my
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So I ate, but like that really kind of, it hurt me a little bit. Because I
Yes.
was
Yeah.
like, food is food, you know?
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
eat things that don't smell bad, but that smells bad, but I don't say anything.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
who are you to come and say, oh, my food smells bad? That's going to make me feel bad, you know?
Exactly,
And that's
yes.
going to make me not want to eat my food.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
when my man said, I still ate it. But Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had in my experience working is like, yeah, I go to the microwave, you warm it, and somebody walks up and I'm like, what is that smelling? What is that you know? And you can tell,
Yeah.
like they are not necessarily impressed,
Exactly.
but it's like they are trying to make a point. It's like, I kind of don't like the smell.
So subtle.
It's
Yes.
the way they
It's your
say it
face.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Which is, it can be annoying, you know. But I love our African food.
I love
agree.
it. No,
I
I'm not gonna
love
lie.
it.
I
Like
agree.
there are times where when I eat American food, my stomach is just, you probably shouldn't be eating this.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm just like I eat more African food than I do American.
Yes.
So like changing it every now and then just doesn't make me feel
Exactly, yeah.
you know.
And this is maybe one of the things our young people who are in this part of education level,
Yeah.
they need to be proud of where they
Yes,
are from.
Exactly.
You know, the
absolutely.
news,
Yeah.
even the dress code.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they need to be proud of that because our food is good. It's our tradition, right? Right.
Yeah.
But I have like, it can definitely be difficult to reconcile, especially for younger people, between embracing their culture, especially food, and maybe even clothing, but also assimilating and getting, becoming an American at the same time. It can be really tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have
It's
It
very
any,
definitely
yeah,
is, for sure. I feel like you never really feel like you fit in one area.
Yes.
At least for me, since I predominantly grew up in the U.S.
Yes.
I always feel like, okay, do I fit more with like the African community or more with the American community? And I never really find like a place that I'm like 100%. I feel like myself.
Yes.
But yeah.
And for me, it's like, I just remember a story back in high school. Because, like, I love my African people. I'm not going to lie. Like, I love Africans. I love hanging out with Africans. I feel like when I'm with Africans, I'm 100% Salia.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas when I'm with American people, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, my gosh, that's so cute.
You
Yes.
assimilate.
You know, I try to assimilate.
Yeah.
But I remember back in high school, I had two friend group. I had my African friends, I had my American friends.
Yes.
Like I had my white friends, and then I had my African American friends, and then I had like African friends. So there was one time we were like doing passing time.
Yes.
So I'm talking to my white people. So I mean, I don't know what else to call them. Should I call them Wazungu?
Yeah.
I'm talking to
No,
Wazungu, right? And then my African friends are passing by. And when I was done talking to them, I was like, oh, guys, I'll see you guys later.
Yes.
So then I started working with my African friends, and they were like, oh, my God, Stella, you're an Oreo. And I was like, Oreo? What does that mean? He's like,
Right.
oh, on the inside you're white, but on the outside you're black.
Wow.
And I was just like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
like the entire year, my entire high school year, they were calling me an Oreo because
Yes.
whenever I had the chance, I would talk to different people.
Yes.
And I guess for them, it wasn't like that. And for me, I'm more like, I want to know everybody.
Everybody.
You know,
yes.
I don't care the color, I don't care the race, I don't care your
Yeah,
background.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to know a little bit. I want to tap into everything.
Exactly,
But they're
yes.
not like that. So I guess it just depends on who you are.
Yes.
And if you're like an open-minded person and you want to experience a lot of things, you're very, what's the word for it? You just want to know. You know, you're a
Yes.
curious person.
Yes.
Don't forget your culture, but at the same time, tap into different things because
Yeah.
that's how you're gonna, acclimate and like really get to know
Yes.
this
Yeah.
country a lot better
Yeah.
than
yeah,
most people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't stick with your little small circle.
No.
Like, be adventurous and actually go out to talk to other people that
Yeah.
are not necessarily
Yes.
like you.
Yes.
That's like something that I've always told my friends too. Like if, for example, if I really stayed, I love Africans because I know the next things that I say will make me seem like I don't like
Yes,
Africans,
right.
but I really do.
Yes.
The one thing that I've always told my sister, like my siblings and a lot of like the younger kids that are, just now
Yes.
realizing all the problems the crazy things in America. I'm just like, love your people,
Yes.
hang out with them,
Yeah.
don't forget your culture and your background, but at the same time, learn how to step out of that so you
Yes.
can grow. In
Yes.
America, you really have
Yes.
to be with the Americans.
Yes.
I mean, they're not
that's who
Americans,
you're
but like,
surrounded by.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They are the majority.
but like
Yeah.
if you're really stuck in your little community, you're
Yes.
not gonna grow as much
That's-
as you want to. Like if you want these white collar jobs, you
Yes.
want to have
connections.
thousands of degrees and whatnot,
Yes.
you really need to step out a little bit. Go see what's happening there.
Yes.
See how you can come up,
Yes.
and then go back.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
back
yeah,
and forth.
back
It's
and
fine.
And then bring other people with
And
you.
then bring other people with you.
Yes, yes. Because I think in that sense, I really like that. Despite they call you Oreo,
Oh, that's so funny.
It's because like you are saying, like you go to this side, they can also this other side can see, oh, these are actually these people are, because they could have their own stereotypes.
Yes.
And you move to this side, so you are bringing that balance, and you are trying to make these connections.
Yep.
That start bringing people together.
Yes.
And
yes.
the more I think people understand each other, the better it is for
Exactly.
society.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but so with your experiences, you know, when and I know for you, Michaela, maybe a little bit different because you started way
When I was
younger.
pretty young.
Yeah, compared to Salia.
Mm-hmm.
But I still am curious. There is always that like period of transition, like when you begin, and a place where you started getting, okay, now I'm comfortable. Like, how long did that take? Was it like 1 day, 3 years?
Yikes.
You go ahead. I feel like I talked too much already.
You have a lot of good points though, which is good. I don't know. I felt it was harder for me because I switched schools a lot
Yes.
to really get used to the school environment.
Yeah.
I would say probably like the first few years, it's a lot easier the younger you are, that's for sure. And
Yes.
also if you're able to find your group, your community sooner as well, that make it a lot easier
Yes.
for you to really get adjusted with that environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for me personally, probably 2-ish years, I would say,
Okay.
before I felt pretty comfortable.
Yes.
But I don't think I ever got to 100% like, oh, I'm very comfortable in
Right.
the school that I'm at.
Right.
Just because you're always meeting other people.
Right.
And there's always like obstacles that you're encountering as well too, that you're trying to navigate.
Right. Right.
But yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, so you mean like comfortable in school? Like the school setting or just in general?
In general,
Okay.
like when now you feel like now you know what, I figured it out. I know how to navigate. You know, either in friendships, it could be even like with your teachers.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I don't think has people of
Do you get to
color
that point?
coming from another country, you're trying
Yes.
to like
Yeah.
merge into this one. I don't think you're ever comfortable.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Because we're going back to the little kids who are coming from Africa, starting like like elementary school for
Yes.
once, like me. It took me a while to learn English.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think it took me like 1 year just because I was young and I was hanging out with a lot of people that spoke English, so it was a
Yes.
lot easier. Whereas my mom, it took her a while
Yes.
because she was not hanging out with a lot of people, with a lot of
Yes.
Americans. She was always with her African friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then when you're in the school setting, you're moving from elementary school, you have your group of friends who you were, in school with the entire time.
Yes.
Then you go to high school, middle school.
Yes.
Now you're integrating with different people from different part of,
Different
the
elementary schools.
different
Yes.
elementary schools.
Yeah.
So then you have to become almost like a whole new person, you know.
Yes, yes.
But and then you're in high school. You have different middle schools coming
Right.
into there.
Yeah.
And then when you go to college, then you're looking at like what college is best for me to go to get a certain
Yes.
degree, you know?
Yes.
So then you're like, oh, this is a PWI, like, where it's like mostly white people.
Yes.
Or you go to HBCU where there's a lot of like African Americans.
Yeah.
So as Africans, you're never
You're
comfortable.
never comfortable. Yes.
You're becoming a new person every step of the way, you know? And you just have to learn how to be like, okay, how can I integrate myself into this group to become
Yes.
the person that I really want to be? I feel like that's the thing for me, because I go to Grand Valley.
Yes.
It's mostly white people.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
there are times in class where I'm the only black person, the only African, not African American, the only African from Africa.
Yes.
You know, so then I just have to know that I'm in this class for a reason. I'm here
Yes.
to get my degree. I'm going to ask this teacher is in this class to teach me things. And if
Yes.
I'm confused, I'll go to his office hours. And he is, by law, by policy, supposed to help me
Yes.
understand these
Yes,
things, right?
yes.
True.
Yeah.
And that's what I usually do, because I know that I'm there for a reason, to get my degree and leave.
Yes.
But then where you have other students who are there, they're like, oh my gosh, this teacher's not doing this. This school is mostly PWI. Like, I can do this, I can do this. I'm just like, you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Focus on what you're here for, and then move on.
Yes.
And you make the connections that you need and move on.
Yes.
Because you're never gonna,
It's not gonna.
Yeah.
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
even in the workplace too,
I
you
was
are
gonna say,
never,
Workplace is like a whole nother beast.
exactly.
After college and everything, because then you're trying to figure out like, okay, what do I do with my life? How do
Yes.
I navigate this in my everyday today life?
And it gets
So-
worse
and
too.
you can't like leave unless you decide to leave your job.
Yes,
This is
yes.
what it is going to be.
Yeah.
And it gets worse for
Yes.
like, for example, you came here to do your master's degree, right?
To do actually undergrad.
Undergrad.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
So you come here doing your undergrad, and for those others that come here to do like their master's degree,
Yes.
you have a big accent.
Yes.
So when you're in the workplace,
Yes.
knowing like how because most of the workplace we want to work is like owned by white people.
Yes.
So when you're in there, they hear your accent, they're like, oh, this guy will not know how to speak to our people.
Yes.
Like we're having a hard time understanding him.
Yes.
So you have to work. You're constantly working on yourself
Yeah.
to
Yes.
better yourself, so you can actually
Yeah.
get a good job, go to a
Yes.
good school.
Yes. Yes.
So I guess you never become comfortable.
Yes,
To answer your
never,
question,
yes.
And also too, like the U.S. history with African American slavery, those type of things.
That part
Yes.
too, yeah.
Greatly
You can speak on that.
influences how
Yes.
they interact with Black people
Yeah.
and other
Yes.
minorities here.
Yes.
And it's detrimental in a way to you as an African, because
Yes.
when they see you, they're already thinking of these stereotypes or viewpoints about you before you even say anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to kind of prove them wrong in a way,
Yes.
which is harder for you than compared to the white person, your
Yeah.
peers
That's
there
true.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But like it's so true because like even in my workplace, first of all, when I got here, one thing I realized is I had to learn how to do small talks.
Oh yes, yes,
Small
100%.
talk with
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Because us Africans, we just look going to direct, like, hey, I'm here for
Yes.
this and this and this, and they give it
Yes.
to you. But here, hi, how you doing? How was your day?
Yeah.
I don't care. Just give me what I'm here for.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so like those small talks, I really had to learn those.
Yeah.
And get comfortable with them because like they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
And the eye contact.
And the
Eye
eye contact.
contact,
Yes. It's
I
so-
gotta like switch when I'm with my family. I'm like,
Right.
okay, not direct eye contact, especially speaking to grandma.
Yes.
That's considered rude.
Oh,
But then,
yeah.
like when I leave work.
Yeah, exactly. And then also my experience with with undergrad was when I got there, I realized that in Kenya, where I went majority of my lower schooling, was that we were kind of more social, and we were also like working a lot together in small groups and all of that. I think that still happens here, but what I realized is, especially my freshman year, either people came from the high school and they knew each other, and they had a group of friends, and didn't want more friends.
Yes.
It felt that way. I don't know. It was just my experience, or you guys also have experienced similar things.
Go ahead.
For sure. I went to a college that I didn't know anyone,
Yes.
but I went to Calvin University, and a lot of people that go there come from different Christian schools in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
So as a result, especially from Grand Rapids Christian, I think it is, a lot of students come to, and then they know a lot of people already when they
Yes.
go to college.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt that a lot. But I think it kind of depends.
Yeah.
I would say in general, though, people for sure stick with the people that they know.
Yes.
And then if you try to join them, they're not
They're
as
just like,
receptive.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when you don't look like them.
Yes.
It makes
Yes.
it a lot harder.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For me, I mean, I don't. It's true. Like I think I agree with you guys. Like people already create the little clique and they just want to stay in that.
Yes.
I mean the school that because I started off at GRCC and we didn't do a lot of like group work.
Yes.
Yeah, like at least from what I can remember. But I know that I've always connected more with Africans.
Yes.
Like there was two other Africans, one from Ghana and one from Burundi. We were like working together, and we did better because I knew them, and we were actually teaching because we were there for a purpose, and we
Yes.
were like teaching each other stuff. But then when I went to Grand Valley, where everybody already knew each other,
Yes.
and it's either they know each other or they look like each other.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
they
They know
connect
each other.
faster.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm the only black student in that one group. They're just like, ugh, whatever, you know.
Yes,
Like
yes.
we can just do what. It's hard.
It's hard,
honestly.
yeah.
If you go to like mostly white people's school, it's hard. But any college is the same
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like that would happen too to like in different areas. Like we naturally gravitate towards others that are similar to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Yep.
So I feel like that's kind of something that you can experience
Anywhere.
that you go.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
true.
But it can definitely be worse in certain areas. And I will say with group projects, people are always notorious for not doing the work.
They work.
Yes.
So
Yep.
no one ever
Yes.
wants to be part of a group
Yes.
projects environments from the first place, which makes it harder to even connect with others in those settings.
Yes. I also want us to explore this area whereby, at least from my experience, especially in school, whereby because of my accent, and they can also tell I'm not American, even just by look.
Yes.
How I dress, even, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know how they do it, but
Yes,
it's
they are
somehow.
able to tell.
Yes.
And so you get put in a group project, or you're working with other students, and there was a sense of these people, I think they are, they don't think I'm capable of.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you guys take me through that, your experiences. It's like
Go
your
ahead.
contribution is kind
Is
of. Yeah.
low? Is
Yeah.
not valued.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. They just think, oh, she's African. She doesn't know anything. Like, you know, because I
You
think they
know-
have that stereotype where
They
Africa is
do.
poor.
Yes.
Africa is this.
But-
Africa is that.
But also, I've also experienced people that think educated like Africans know a lot.
Okay. So
Same
you've
time.
Tell us.
I feel like I've experienced both.
Yes.
Okay.
Like at least in school, like when I'm in a group, people are like, oh my gosh, you know what you're doing, you should do that type of thing. I think once they, like with African Americans, there's that stereotype where they're not educated, they don't know what they're doing type of
Yes.
thing. So then they tend to look less towards them.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in my experience with Africans, they
Yes.
tend to view the opposite, where they're like, oh, they tend to be more educated, more studious as well. So
Yes.
then they will contribute more in that area.
But I think
Yeah.
it depends on the school that you go to, too.
Probably.
might,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
school that you go to, then they'll
Yeah.
be like, I feel like for Calvin, a lot of like the African students that go to Calvin are like, you know, educated. And I think Calvin is just like very open-minded because they have like, they want to do exchange
Oh yeah.
programs with like
Yes.
schools in Nigeria and Ghana and all
Yeah.
other places.
Yeah.
Whereas the school that I go to, that's not very common,
That's
you
true.
know.
Yeah.
So like you have an African student that comes in, they're just like, oh, she doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yes.
Like, and a lot of the white students there, they're not very open-minded. And
Yes.
that's like my
Yes.
biggest problem. They're just like, oh, you're African, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even speak to us. Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I will say in the workplace setting, that's where I've gotten a lot more negative
Yeah.
Yes.
remarks and viewpoints from other coworkers, like other white coworkers who that
Yes.
think I don't know what I'm doing
Yes.
or that I'm not capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And then I have to prove myself to them that I actually can.
Yeah.
So.
You're constantly proving yourself.
And it's tiring, right?
It is tiring.
It is
It's
tiring.
very tiring. I just wish like everybody kind of accept people for who they are. But like I
Yes.
think it goes it goes to like the racism thing too.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like I feel like
yes.
that's the big thing.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's just hard being a black person in
It is.
America.
It is. It is. I think my experiences actually was I connected more when it came like to group projects and people actually trusting my abilities. I connected more with African Americans. I think they trusted me
Really?
more. Yeah.
Okay, that's
my
very
white-
interesting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
my,
Your
the
white colleagues?
students.
Yeah.
And even like doing homeworks, I think I end up like doing more with like African Americans
Wow.
because I felt like they acknowledge that I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
feel judged.
Yeah.
Unlike my work colleagues, especially in one of my projects, it was like with a white student, and man, that I felt it.
Wow.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Why? What do you think that is?
Either is assumption, I'm from Africa, so I'm less knowledgeable, I'm less intelligent.
Yeah.
That was all my assumption. And actually, I ended up even like doing more into that project than
Then the other ones.
than they did. And part of it was because I'm trying to
prove yourself.
prove myself, right? And as you said, it happened the same in a workplace. Like I'm working on, I did a lot of design work in engineering. And so I got like this area whereby majority of the colleagues knew if you want to ask a question, you go to a seeker on this section, right?
Yeah.
And they hired this white kid, and it was like, oh, he would never come to ask me anything. He always go to his white colleagues. And then they'll be like, I don't know, you're going to have to go talk to a workplace, they call me David. You're going to have to go talk to David. And this kid was having such a difficult time coming to me. And I said, I'm not going to approach you.
Yeah.
When you
gotta
humble
come to me.
yourself,
You
you
come.
come.
I love
and,
that.
Yes,
I
and
love that.
I'll help.
Yeah.
But as long as you can humble yourself, I'm not going to approach you. Yes. So, but it's annoying. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. So in high schools, these lower level schools, do they do projects or is just
They do
Yes.
projects,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
All
do,
right.
they do projects.
I think like almost every class, every
Yes.
subject, we have some kind of project.
Yeah.
projects? And it's like individual projects or they?
Some of them
Both.
are individual, some of them
Mhm.
are like, you know, group
Groups.
projects.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what would you advise kids to succeed in those groups they should do? Because I'm assuming to some extent maybe they experience the same thing.
I think it's just like
Yeah.
for me, and I'm speaking based on my experience, it all
Yes.
depends on who is in your group and how well do you personally
Yes.
want to do in this class.
Exactly.
So it's always like, yes, you're in a group. Because
Yes.
these group projects, I feel like the schools, in a way, they are teaching us how to
Yes.
live life outside of school, like when we're done with college, when we graduate and everything.
Yes.
Because going back to the workforce, all we do is group. A lot of
Yes.
stuff that we do has to do with us being in a group.
Yes.
So when you're in school and the teacher assigns you a project with your classmates,
Yes.
some classmates will not do anything.
Yeah.
You just have to understand that some classmates just want the grade.
Yes.
And with you, if they're gonna put all the workload on you, or you and few other people in your group, you have to go to report it to the teacher.
That's true,
Like
yes.
you can ask the person, do your part.
Yes.
What do you need help with?
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
can try to help you. But if they don't want to do anything, then you go tell the teacher that.
The
Because
teacher,
I feel like
yes.
that's what I do.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to take on the workload for you.
Exactly,
We all
yes.
have our parts. This is going to impact all of us.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
who are you to be like, oh, I'm the queen or I'm the king. I'm not going to do anything. Everybody else
Right.
have to do it.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So like it all depends on how well you want to do, and then from there on move forward.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if your other group member don't want to do anything, you might actually be able to do the project by yourself and
Yes.
present it by yourself.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you do well
That's
that
true.
way.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
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 Yeah, I would just say do your own part, do your part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be that person who's just sitting behind and not actually doing it or participating
Yes.
or contributing to that group effort.
Mm.
Because then you're just further, I don't know, going into that stereotype where, oh, you don't do that person, you don't do things well
Yeah.
as an African. So
Yes.
it's not just for you to like prove it to yourself, but also prove it to others that you
Yeah.
can do it.
You can do
Yeah,
it by
you can
yourself.
do it,
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you truthfully can.
Yes.
So do
And
it.
in that
Yes.
and in that
Yes.
way too, you show the teacher that, oh, I am smarter than these people. Because like
Exactly. Yes.
some
Exactly.
teachers,
Yes.
they think so low of African
Ah,
students.
yes,
It's
yes.
foreigners in general, like they
Yes.
think so low of them. But if you put yourself in that place where it's like, hey, I really want to do my work. This is
Yes.
what I have done.
Yes.
And these other students are not doing anything.
Yes.
Is there any way that I can do the work by myself? So then the teacher will start looking at you in a different light.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
And I think it'll help them to have other students feel like they can approach you better, like if you're
Yes.
also putting in the effort.
But at the same time, they might look down on you because they'll be like, who does she think she is? Or who does he
Right.
think he is?
Yeah. yeah. Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
what they want.
It's never,
Yes.
you know, but
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to like to professors and teachers, I think you guys are so right. I remember one of my math professors in college. I always wondered, why is it like she even not giving me an attention, like as in if I'm trying to ask a question or I'm trying to understand this concept better. She seemed to ignore me. And what I did is, so the person who contributed me coming here is actually was a professor in Grand Valley State University. And he was also a math teacher.
okay.
And I went to Hope College. So I ended up talking to that host dad, who was a professor there, and I said, you know, like in my math class, I think I have a problem with the professor. Yes.
Yeah.
And it turned out like they knew each other.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. So I believe he ended up talking to her.
Yeah.
And from there, like my relationship with that
Oh
changed
my
completely.
gosh.
Well, see, connection.
Yes.
Interesting.
Connections, yes. So I think our students,
Yeah.
our brothers and sisters, if they see something, they need also to take, maybe especially concerned with the teacher, they need to take also steps and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this professor. I'm having a problem with this particular teacher. And because unless you speak,
No, they're not gonna know.
yeah, they're not going to know.
Yeah,
You're not
right.
going to get any help.
I think it's also important that depending on the school that you go to,
Yes.
no, because like I think the majority of the schools in Grand Rapids,
Yes.
I mean colleges have African professors.
Yes.
So know who those professors are.
Yes.
Your advisor is great.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're not the best.
I agree.
Because
I
listen,
agree. Yes.
there was
true.
a time where I was struggling in finance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I don't know if I told you guys that I was struggling in finance. I was struggling big
Yes.
time.
Big time, yeah.
And you know, the first the first chapter I learned, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is a different language.
Yeah.
Like I had to learn this all new again. But like after the class was over, everybody's being dismissed. I go up to the professor. I'm like, the professor saw me that I'm waiting for my turn.
Yes.
But he literally turned around and spoke to like the other person that was like, you know,
Yes.
they're bazungus, you know.
Yes, yeah.
So he turned, and I don't want to make this a race thing, but that's how I felt.
Yes.
I felt like he was just ignoring me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, you know, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I left, and then I go to my advisor, and I'm like, hey, I'm struggling in this class. I don't know what to do. You know what the advisor told me? Just get a D, and
Yo,
you'll be and you'll be passing. That's what I was like.
What?
In my head, I was like, is that how low they think of
Right.
their students?
Right.
Like, you really think me getting they just care about me passing. And I
Right.
felt so bad. But then eventually I went and I told the professor, I was like, listen, I am struggling in your class, and this is how you made me feel when you did X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
There was a point where he like
Will you told this
announced.
to your professor?
Yeah,
how
like
you felt?
he announced, because there was a time where he literally announced my grade to the entire class. And mind you, I did bad on that test.
Yes.
But how are you gonna tell everybody in the class what my grade
Right,
is? And then
right.
everybody was looking. I left that
What?
class crying
Wow.
because it was so embarrassing. Like, why would
I
you do
can
something like that?
imagine, yeah.
So I don't know, like, you know, knowing who to talk to
Yes.
whenever you're struggling
Yes.
is very, very important.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
and like knowing that, you know, different black professors in your college, because
Yes.
they can do they can talk to that professor for you.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
mention
Yes.
your name whenever something is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot easier to do that in like smaller schools
Yeah.
because the professors are able to focus more on each student, the smaller the classroom
Yes.
sizes. But like on those big public schools, it's a lot
Harder.
Harder,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you feel like you're just a number in the sea of people.
Yes.
For sure. And
Yes.
in those cases, you had to make more of an effort to reach out to
To
Yeah.
reach out,
people.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Like there was one time, I think this was like last year, really. That a lot of Grand Valley, a lot of the students there, like African American students, were protesting that the retention levels for African American is very low.
Yes.
Like, what are you guys doing? The school is not really helping them out.
Yes.
There's not enough resources. And this is, for me, I was like, the resources are there.
Yes.
You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
not gonna come to you.
Yeah.
Maybe they have
Exactly.
different experiences than I do, because
Yes.
I'm such a person. Like, if I want something, I will annoy you until
Yes.
until you provide me with the answer. If I
Yes.
can't find it by myself, I'm gonna annoy you until I get it.
Yeah.
But some students they don't do
They're
that.
not
They
like
just
that,
want
yeah.
the things to be given to them, and it's not gonna be given
It's
to
not,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
agree.
have to put in the work. It's
I
like what
agree.
we were saying earlier. Like we, as
group
African
environments.
people in the
Yes.
U.S., we
Yes.
have to put in a lot of work to get what we want and
That's
to get where
true.
we want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, with the whole thing about you know, advisors, you know, you mentioned that you reminded me actually of my migration advisor. That I realized that he almost misled me in a couple
Wow.
different times.
Really?
Yes. And what rescued me was people, other Africans who were like, no, this is not right. What
Yeah.
he told you, this
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
right.
Yep.
Like, no, don't do that. Like, you need to do A, B, C, and D. And so it becomes like, wow, like, not just like rely on that device, either in academics or in terms of immigrations. Because a lot of them, they're just doing their job,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
and that's it,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, they're just following the policy.
Yes,
And that's why
yes,
it's important to, you know, have multiple insight.
yes,
You know, in everything that you do.
yes,
Like,
Yeah.
you get insight from this person, be like, okay, I'll take that into consideration. Then you talk to somebody else.
yes,
And then from there, I make your own conclusion.
Yes.
And your own.
Exactly.
yes, yes, yes. So guys, man, this has been awesome.
It really
You
has.
guys have been amazing. Like,
It's been fun.
yes,
I
it's been
actually-
fun.
I had so much fun talking
Yes.
about this. I feel
Yes.
like if this continues, we can even jump into other topics.
Yes, yes.
Not just school and so this
Yes.
is just for like Africans back home.
This is
Or like people that are here. Right?
even people who are here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it covers a lot of base.
Yeah.
Because we really kind of touch in all areas. I know people will be maybe planning to come here. This is a knowledge they need to
Yeah.
hear. People who are here, there's somebody who could already be here and maybe they're making a mistake, they don't realize it. And they hear this conversation like, oh man, I'm
Yeah.
not taking my life serious.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Or it could be a parents like, oh man, I've not be listening to my child. Maybe I need to do more of that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure.
It's very important.
Yeah, it is
Crazy.
important. So definitely we have a lot of things to talk about.
It's a lot, yeah.
And yeah, definitely I would love to have you guys back maybe on a different topic.
Yeah.
And just continue having these conversations. But mostly you'll basically be majoring in our community, the African community.
Which is good.
Okay.
I feel
Yes.
like a lot of like, the African community needs a lot of information.
Yes.
Like we're so not misled. It's just like a lot of things are out there, but we just have a hard time,
Yes.
Yeah.
finding
This goes
those
back
resources.
to what we talked about, like at the ARC.
Yeah.
Like how a lot of other minority groups have like resources and communities that are there for
Yes.
people that come from their
Yeah.
countries to the U.S.
Yes.
But it's lacking.
Yeah. So
among the
like
African community.
we work. Well,
Yes.
I don't work there anymore, but she still volunteers there.
Yeah.
Like we work at African Resource Center. I don't know if you know of it. It's literally
With
right there on
Pastor
40.
Bernard
with Pastor Bernard.
I don't think I know of it.
Oh.
Oh, it's literally on 44th Street.
Yeah.
Uh,
down the
44th and Breton. It's not even that far
Yeah,
from here.
maybe 5 minutes
Yeah.
from here.
What do they do?
So,
Yeah.
you want to take it away?
So it's a resource center. So we focus on helping African immigrants, students, like
yes.
from elementary school through end of high school, to really get acclimated within the Grand Rapids community
Yes.
and kind of get their foot in the
Yeah,
door.
literally through education.
Yes.
Mostly, I think that the main focus is on the younger kids,
Yes.
like from elementary school to end of high school, learn study habits,
Yes.
Yeah.
social, just learning how the society is in the U.S.
Yes.
And I think
Health,
I like
community.
health, community, and everything, trauma as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of our clients are usually like refugee, mostly,
yes,
yeah. And they're just like, a lot of them are not as open-minded, I would say, or
Yeah.
like educate, like their mothers are like, they run from war from other countries and then they go to a
Yes.
Yeah.
refugee camp in a safer country in Africa.
Yes.
So they don't have a lot of education on certain things. So we try to like,
Yes.
educate them
Yes.
in that
And
way
provide resources
and
too.
provide resources.
So
yeah.
Wow.
yeah. So every Saturday, well, not every Saturday, every one Saturday a month, we have like a tutoring session for the students.
Yes.
And then we focus a lot on like English, math, and then social and cultural activities
Yeah.
during that
Yes.
time.
And throughout the month, there's different
other stuff.
activities going on throughout the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So.
Honestly, I didn't know it existed. yes.
It exists. It
Yes.
exists.
And
I
this-
know, again, it's like people just don't know. People don't
Yes.
ask.
Yeah.
People don't really go out for the
Exactly.
resources. And a lot of
Yes.
the time when I used to work there, like I used to be like the office manager. And when I was there, like I'll have a lot of phone calls from Wazungu.
Yes.
Instead of like my own people. So like it's
Yes.
Wazungu asking for other Africans, like, hey, are you guys doing this and this? And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's great that they're out here reaching out to
Yes.
support other Africans, but I wish it was Africans.
Do you think
Yes.
there's a disconnect, as in people don't know actually the program exists, and maybe
Yeah.
a better way of maybe marketing or advertising the program could help?
I think marketing is one, but
Yes.
also I just feel like Africans don't want things to be brought to them. Instead of them going out there and seeing.
Yes.
There's some smart ones who really just go out and look for things for themselves, but
Yes.
others they want to sit back and just have things brought to them. So
And I think too, like one issue we ran into as well is that a lot of Africans would think, oh, you're reaching out to me, where's the money?
yes,
Like they're not
money,
wanting to put in
yeah,
the effort
yeah.
to actually get a
Yeah.
lot out of that
Yes,
resource.
yes.
They're expecting something in
They're always
return.
expecting something out of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So,
So
we
this
come
is-
into that.
In this program, you have kind of to pay some amount, or
No, we
it's
don't have
free.
to pay. It's
literally
free.
free.
Yeah.
You
Like
just have
for
to
the
put in the effort.
for the students,
Show
for the
up.
students.
Wow, yes.
And
Yeah.
for the students, like a really great advantage for them when they come, there's
Yes.
computers provided for them.
Wow.
Like we have like new
Yes.
laptops
Yeah.
for them
Wow.
to use at home.
Yes.
You know, to
Wow.
like really, they can do
Yes.
that. School research, for example, I know that schools now provide laptops, but for those who don't really have laptops,
Yes.
we give them laptops so they can
Yeah.
go to their house and actually study.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know. And we have like different people going to those homes and making sure that they're actually studying, or
Yeah.
we'll do like the Zoom calls
Yes.
to make sure that they're actually doing their work.
Yes.
So we're actually putting the the resources out there, and we're telling people. But again,
Yeah.
it just
Right.
goes to the. I know a lot of the people that we talk to, it's more like, oh, my child needs to work.
Yes.
So my
Yeah,
child can do this and this. Or the
Yes.
African parents will come and start buying big houses for like a lot of money. So now
Yes.
all of their kids are working instead of focusing on education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
So-
will get them even further
Yeah.
Wow.
So
often.
we get into those challenges,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we're still trying. We're still, you know, working
Yes.
and trying to get the parents really to understand how important education is in the U.S. instead of just
Yes.
working these mediocre jobs.
Right, right.
You know, if you finish school, you actually get a proper job where you're not constantly working in a factory, hurting your back.
Exactly,
You know,
yes, yes.
driving trucks to different states. That's a
Right.
lot.
Yes.
You know, it's
yes.
draining. It's a lot of. It's just,
And
it's
you
just
really
too
don't
much.
want to do that.
And you don't want to do that
long
for
Right,
term.
yourself.
long
It's not
time,
really
yes.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So.
No, I agree. I mean, I've driven a truck myself, and it can be draining, and also like you are away from
Family all
everybody,
the time.
family,
Yes.
you
It's a
know.
lot of time.
Yes,
spent
yes,
away, yeah.
and so a lot of times it's like if you know, and some of these jobs are well paying, whereby you know you come home and you sleep really well. You just have to wake up in the morning and go to your job.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then at 5 you go back home.
And that's with proper education.
Yes, with
Yeah.
proper education, whereby now you don't need like to work 2 jobs, two and a half jobs
Exactly.
to make it, you know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that leads to health issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
you
those
know.
are the things that we have to learn.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
And they say like stress is the #1 killer you know, I don't know. And so it's just like
Yeah.
if you're too stressed, you're living
Yes.
paycheck to paycheck, you're not really enjoying the American dream.
No. No, you're not. You're
So
not.
Yeah.
really just understanding that you really do need proper education. You need to put yourself out there and stop
Yes.
and not go to factory, come back. You're working 10, 12-hour shifts
Yes.
in a place where it's not even a healthy, you know, working conditions.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Right.
but that's just what we try to do at ARC.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for volunteers.
All right.
So-
volunteers?
So if
Yes.
anyone
If
is
you're in the
interested-
U.S. in Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
come check us out. We're on 44th and Breton.
In Brighton, yeah. So
Yep.
it's right here down the road.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like this church is majority, you know, Africans. I know another church. I can't remember the name of it, but it's mostly a lot of the refugees from the Congo
Yeah.
and other places. And yeah, I think this is something that is a resource they can benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did the organization participate in the Glimpse of Africa? Did they
No.
attend or something
No.
like
It's
that?
completely separate.
It's separate,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like we try to keep it more focused on education,
Yes.
culture, health, and less about like putting
Big
together
events.
events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So-
the big
But-
events, we just try to leave it to the glimpse of Africa.
No, but I'm talking in terms of like creating awareness of the existence of the
Oh,
program.
I see.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
yeah.
Do you guys
yeah.
like go to
We
different
weren't there.
churches whereby you can say, hey, we
Oh,
have
to kinda
this
promote it.
program?
Yeah, trying to
Yeah.
promote
you
it.
know? Yeah.
No, I think part of it is because we try to really focus on a small group of people and
Yes.
to really pour into it.
Mm-hmm.
So for one, at least with the tutoring sessions,
Yes.
you have to be a refugee in order to be part of
Yes.
that program.
Okay.
So that already puts like a limit to who can actually participate.
Yes.
So I don't know, maybe you have more insight in this, or because you were more
And
like,
like-
office work on like how
And like advertising and going to different
yeah,
churches.
Right.
or like why we don't really do that as much.
We do, but it's just like other different, what's the word for it? Oh my
Like groups, organizations.
No, not different organizations. It's like that people don't. You know, it just goes back to a lot of
Right.
mothers not.
Mm.
I think our biggest challenge is people that work,
Yes.
not like just working, but oh my goodness, I can think of English is going away.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Hold
Like
on.
people focusing more on work
Yeah,
Yes.
and
yeah.
less on
On education,
yeah,
where
or like-
so for example,
Yeah.
a lot of African parents they work, right?
Yes.
And we really don't have a lot of transportation to go get the kids.
Yes.
So you know
Oh,
how
yeah, yeah.
American
Yeah.
people would drop their kids off to school, would drop
Yes.
their kids off to different programs.
Yes.
Whereas African parents, they don't want to do that. They want to be picked up.
Yes.
So then
yes.
we have to
do a lot of that
back and forth, you know.
Yes,
So
yes,
yes.
the program has to go get the kids,
Right.
bring them here, and then take them back home. It's just sometimes it's a bit
It's
a lot
too
of
much.
work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yes.
It's tedious.
to really
Yeah.
juggle
Yes.
it all.
So I think that's the biggest problem for now.
Yes.
If it wasn't for that, and if the parents were really willing to bring their kids
Yes.
to this program because we really want our kids to be educated and to really acclimate well in the U.S., it would have been a lot easier.
Definitely.
And it would,
yes.
but
Yeah.
the transportation thing and try to give African
Right.
parents to understand that hey, education is important. You
Yes.
really need this for your kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And also we need more volunteers too in general.
And
We don't have enough staff to do all this.
So
Yeah.
I was going to
So-
ask actually with the volunteers, what are the
Yes.
requirements? Like for somebody to become a volunteer?
I don't think
We
there's
don't
much
require that
requirements.
much.
No.
Like, is there like a level of education? Do they have, you know?
Not that I know of, right?
And
No.
what would the volunteers be doing, you know?
It depends. So I focus more on social cultural aspects of it.
Mhm.
So I do a lot of like organizing excursions,
Yes.
focusing on different topics that can help the students kind of improve more socially and culturally,
Yes.
wherever they are, whether it's at school,
Mhm.
work if they're working, their environments there. But the program director tries to kind of have each volunteer focus on a different thing.
Yes.
So we have one that focuses more on tutoring, like they're more like the head coach during
Yes.
that time when we're meeting together on Saturdays.
Mhm.
Yours is more like office.
Yeah, I was just like trying to manage
Work.
everything.
You're right. Yes.
You're like the person we talk to if we had any questions.
Yes,
I
Yes.
feel like.
that's basically what I was doing.
Yeah, but we also recently hired another volunteer to kind of focus more on reading
Yes.
aspects.
Yeah.
There was talks about maybe helping or having someone focus more on math
Yes.
that we're looking for.
Mhm.
So I think if you have like a niche that you are interested in or that you're good at or knowledgeable in,
Yes.
I feel like there's some way that we can kind of integrate it within
Yeah.
the
We-
resource
We,
center.
we really
So-
need, I
Yes.
think another thing is we really need a lot of male and female.
Mm.
Yes,
Because we
mostly
have
male.
mostly
Mostly
male,
males, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Because we do have a few boys in the program
Yes.
Yeah.
who want, because there's a lot of females. You know,
Yes.
females are more tender-hearted. We care for the
Yes,
people, and we
yeah.
want to be there. And there's a lot of females that really want their, a lot of girls
Yes.
who really want to excel in their education.
Yeah.
But the boys there too, they need a male role model.
Yeah,
Because I
they
feel like the
do.
only male role model is the executive director. But we really need, you know, other males
Especially
to
ones
come.
that are closer to their age.
Yes,
Younger.
to come and like
Yeah.
really talk to them and be like, hey, this
Yeah.
is what you have to do. Just be an
Yes.
example, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're also the ones too within that group that tend to be or have more trouble like at school
Yes.
with their teachers, with their parents as well too.
Yeah.
So we could really use other male role models
Yes.
for them too.
Hopefully,
So.
people who are listening will be touched and they can
Yes.
volunteer. Are there?
Please.
What are the hours of volunteer? Is it during the weekend, in the evening?
It's right now.
It's
Oh, you can-
one Saturday a month.
Okay.
That might change to two Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
But that's still
once
in
a
the
month.
talks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty manageable.
and it's like
it's
2
just
hours.
like
Yeah, literally
like
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours in
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, 4 hours in a month.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Up
Yeah.
to 4 hours.
Yeah,
a
up to
month.
4 hours a
Up to
month.
4
Yeah.
hours. Okay, all right.
And then we have like staff meetings too once
Yes.
a month as well outside of the Saturday meetings.
Yeah,
All right, all right, all right.
which lasts
So-
about 2 hours. So 6 hours a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, John, you know, we will look into it and see if we can volunteer. and
Come,
encourage other people.
come, encourage the
do.
young boys,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, yeah, this has been great.
Yeah.
This has been great. You guys are outstanding. And you know, you brought a lot of fun into this as well. You know, so great job. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
and-
for organizing this.
Yeah.
We've been thinking of like creating it for the African community because it's very much needed.
Yeah, it is.
So it is a great start.
It is.
You
Yeah.
know, you go up from here.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's been.
I wanted to ask.
Yes.
I want to promote my survey too.
Please go ahead.
No,
Yes.
so like I'm doing this survey for like young African women between the age of 18 and 35.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to see where they're really struggling with, you know, because again, once you're 18, that's when you're like out of high school, entering college.
Yes.
And that's where I feel like a lot of women have a hard time.
Yes.
You know, just because now they're on their own and, you know, trying to figure out life. Some are pregnant, some are not pregnant, you know.
Right.
The international students, non-international students, everybody's struggling in
Yes.
some ways or the other.
Yeah.
So really, the survey is just trying to understand where they need the most help with.
Right.
You know, just
Right.
trying to, you know, doing that. Yeah.
And where can they get the survey, or how can they get in touch with you for them to get a survey?
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
Okay.
Is there a way for you to link the survey?
Can you link
like,
the survey
in
in
the show
the-
notes? Because
Yeah.
you guys put it on
Yes.
YouTube, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So I can
Yes.
send you the link.
Yes,
and
how
then
about
they
you
can
mention it right now,
Yeah.
verbally, so they can hear it, and then you send me the details.
Yes,
and
I
then
will.
I'll put it. I'll put captions of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
please. Yeah. So that's just my focus right now, and
Yes.
see.
Do you have like a verbal link? that
Yeah,
you
I
can
have.
say?
Oh, the link? No, I don't, because it's
oh.
on Google Forms.
Oh,
yeah,
Ah, okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't have the verbal link. I don't even have it's not on any website. So
Yes, yes.
it's literally like on my Instagram bio, so they can always press
What's your
on it.
Instagram so they can check you out?
It's salia.gg, so it's like SALIYA dot and then 2GG, two
Okay,
G's.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll make sure like that is we have that into the.
yeah,
into
please,
the-
and
into
I'll
the
send it to
video.
you.
And yeah.
You have you texted me, right?
Yes,
yeah,
I
so I'll
did.
send you
I
the
did,
link that
yes.
way too.
Yeah. Send me
give you
the
the
link,
handles.
and then I'll add it there. Yeah.
Yeah. So like really like the focus is just really trying to help African women like really support them
Yes.
through whatever they're going through.
Yeah. Hey, if you get these surveys, please do it.
Yes.
We really try to help each other.
Yes.
In whatever way possible.
Yeah.
So do the survey, unless again, this is another way of us really learning from one another, and the more knowledge we have of each other, now
Yes.
the better we can know
Yeah.
how to help one another,
Yeah.
right?
And like the ARC is called African Resource Center. So if you just go to africanresourcecenter.org,
Yes.
you go
Yes.
to the main page and you
Yes.
can check us out. Our pictures are there too.
Well, not yours anymore.
Mine is gone. Mine is gone.
Yes.
Sorry, but hers is there. You'll be able to
Yeah.
find it that way.
So you guys can also send me the information about
Yes, the African
Oh,
Resource
yeah.
Center.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
we'll
then
send
I
you
can
everything.
also attach that as well.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Yes,
100%.
Yes, yeah. So, and guys, also, this is our channel. Please go subscribe, listen to these videos because they have a ton of information. Share, let the majority of people also get to know about this knowledge, amazing knowledge, and like, and also leave comments. Let us know like what other topics we should talk about. I know I have a list of things to talk about, but I don't know everything.
Yes,
I'm also
yes.
learning. This is completely new to me.
Yeah,
But I just took a step of faith to do it.
which is great.
Yes.
I think this is so needed.
Yes.
Yeah, and like and if
yes.
you can bring different people, even I was gonna say even grandpas, but even grandpas, yes, even
Wait,
grandpas,
yeah.
Why not? Yes.
pastors,
Yes.
Yeah.
all
People
of
from
them,
different walks of
people
life.
from all,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
much to contribute.
Yes.
So we can
yes.
just get a little knowledge of everything helps
Yes.
from
yes.
different people. So
So guys, leave comments there what you guys would like to hear and how we are doing. If there are things that need to be corrected, we can
Yeah.
do better.
Oh, yes.
Hey, and if you want to do a podcast and you're wondering where you can start, in every YouTube I list a bunch of the equipments that we use here.
okay,
So
okay.
it will be easier for you. I've done a lot of research to get all of this. And it may save somebody a minute.
okay,
So you can go there. The links are there of every
equipment that you're using,
yes,
which is
cables
great.
and
Yeah.
all of that.
Nice.
Okay.
So it'll be easier for you to get started. And you don't have to take a whole year of collecting everything like I did.
He did that research already, so
Yes.
you don't
The
have
hard
to
work
worry
for
about
y'all.
it. The hard work is
Exactly.
gone. He was the student who we all like just set out information and he did the project.
Exactly. Oh man, you guys have been great. I'm so grateful for you guys coming out.
That's great.
Even that you guys have never met me before.
I
It's the
know.
first time.
You see, this is the thing I love about Africans. We
Yes.
just connect.
Yes.
We, even
I
without knowing
know.
each other, we just connect.
Yes.
This is
Somebody
great.
may think we knew each other
For years.
years.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten that so many times with different people that I've interacted with.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
we love our culture. We love Africa.
It's the best.
Yes.
It's the best.
Yes.
And thank you, Brother John, for stepping in last minute notice and coming in to help out.
Thank you, thank
with
you.
the with the technical stuff. Really appreciate you. This has
Yeah.
been
Guys,
great.
ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
I think that.